Welcome back to the channel, US Rare Coins News, Top 1. Today we are looking at a coin that looks like gold, feels special in your hand, and yet most people still treat it like just $1. But here's the surprising part, a few rare versions of this exact coin have sold for hundreds, simply because of tiny details. Most people never notice. This is the United States of America Gold $1 2000D. The Sacagawea Dollar from Denver, and in this video, I'm going to show you exactly what makes this coin more than just pocket change, the hidden features collectors search for, and the small differences that can turn it into something seriously valuable. So don't skip ahead, because one detail we're about to talk about could completely change how you look at every coin you own. Now imagine this on screen, a close-up shot of the coin spinning slowly under a warm light. That golden color glowing almost like real gold, and that's the first thing that fooled people when this coin was released in the year 2000, many assumed it had actual gold in it, but it doesn't. It's made from a special manganese brass alloy that gives it that rich golden appearance, and that alone made it stand out from every other circulating US coin at the time. Now bring the camera in closer. On the front, you'll see Sacagawea, the Native American woman who helped guide the Lewis and Clark expeditions, shown carrying her infant son, Jean-Baptiste. On her back, zoom in on her face, the calm expression, the detailed hair, the texture of the clothing. It's a design that feels alive, not just stamped metal. And just below the date, you'll spot the small D mint mark that tells you this coin was struck in Denver. Flip the coin slowly, give viewers that satisfying reveal in the back, a powerful eagle in flight, surrounded by 17 stars. Those stars represent the number of states during the time of that historic expedition. It's simple, but it tells a story of exploration, risk, and discovery, and that idea of discovery is exactly what makes this coin so exciting for collectors today, because not all 2000D coins are the same. Now here's where things start to get interesting. Cut to a magnified close-up of the eagle's tail feathers. Most people would never look this closely, but collectors do, because on some early versions of these coins, the tail feathers appear sharper, more detailed, almost enhanced compared to the standard design. These are often connected to the famous early release coins, sometimes referred to as Cheerio-style dollars. And here's the crazy part, those special coins were originally given away in cereal boxes as a promotion. Imagine that, a potentially valuable coin sitting inside a breakfast box, completely unnoticed. Now picture this shot, someone pouring cereal into a bowl years ago, not realizing what they had just opened today. Finding one of those enhanced detail coins is like hitting a quiet jackpot in the coin world. But wait, there's more to the story. Let's talk about conditions. How two coins side by side, one dull and scratched, the other bright and flawless. The difference is everything. A coin that's been passed around for years loses its sharpness and shine, but a coin that's been kept safe, clean surfaces, strong luster, crisp details. That's where collectors start paying attention. Even tiny marks can affect value. Every little detail matters. And then come the errors. Cut to a dramatic close-up of an off-center strike. Some 2000D Sacagawea dollars have minting errors, like off-center designs, die cracks, or unusual surface textures. These errors happen during production, and instead of being destroyed, a few escape into circulation, and those are the ones collectors love, because no two error coins are exactly the same. It's like owning a mistake that turned into something rare. Now imagine you're going through your coins late at night, just casually checking, and suddenly you notice something off. Maybe the strike looks shifted, maybe the details look different. That moment is what makes coin collecting addictive, because you never know what you're going to find. And now let's talk about the part everyone is waiting for. What is this coin actually worth in regular circulated condition? The 2000D Sacagawea dollar is usually worth around $1 to $3 in uncirculated condition with strong shine and detail. It can range from around $10 to $40 depending on quality, but if you find one with those enhanced tail feather details or a significant mint error, those coins have sold for hundreds of dollars at auction, especially in high-grade condition. So the difference between a normal coin and a valuable one can come down to something as small as the shape of a feather, and that's what makes this coin so fascinating. Now I want to hear from you. Have you ever checked your Sacagawea dollars this close? Alido, you already have a 2000D coin sitting somewhere right now. Have you ever found a coin that looked different but didn't know why? Drop your answer in the comments, because I read every single one. Top 2. Today we are looking at a dollar coin that hides its most important secret in a place most people never even think to check, and that one hidden detail has turned ordinary coins into pieces collectors will fight over. This is the United States of America Gold $1 2010D, part of the Presidential Dollar series. And before you assume it's just another common coin, wait until you see what can go wrong with it. what to look for, and why some of these have sold for far more than a single dollar. Stay with me, because by the end of this video you'll know exactly how to spot the rare versions, the unusual mint errors, and the tiny details that could turn your spare change into something worth real money. Now picture this on screen, a slow motion shot of a golden dollar coin rolling across a table, spinning, catching light, then gently falling flat. It looks simple, clean, nothing special at first glance, but that's exactly what makes this coin so easy to overlook. Bring the camera in closer. On the front, you'll see the portrait of President Millard Fillmore. His name curves across the top, with the year 2010 and a small D mint mark just below, showing it was minted in Denver. Zoom in on the details, the sharp lines of the face, the texture in the hair, the clean edges of the lettering. Everything about it looks precise, almost perfect. Now flip the coin slowly in the reverse. The Statue of Liberty stands tall, torch raised, a design shared across the presidential dollar series. It's bold, recognizable, and easy to identify even from a distance. But here's where things start to get interesting, because the most important part of this coin isn't on either side, it's on the edge, and most people never check it. Cut to a tight rotating close-up of the coin's edge. Under bright light you'll see inscriptions running along the side, the year, the mint mark, and phrases like e pluribus unum. This is something completely different from traditional coins, and it's also where things can go very wrong during production. Now imagine this moment: you pick up one of these coins, flip it over, check the front, check the back, everything looks normal, but then you turn it to the side, and the edge is completely blank, no lettering, nothing at all. That's not where. That's a mint error, and it's one of the most famous errors in modern US coins. Show a comparison shot, one with full edge lettering, one completely smooth. It's subtle until you know what to look for, and then it stands out immediately. These are called missing edge lettering errors, and they happen because the edge design is added after the coin is struck. So if something goes wrong in that final step, the coin leaves the mint unfinished, and those unfinished coins are exactly what collectors hunt for. But here's another twist: some coins didn't just miss the lettering, they got it twice. Cut to a close-up of doubled edge lettering. The text appears overlapping, slightly misaligned, almost like it's been stamped twice by mistake. It looks unusual, almost confusing at first glance, but that kind of error can make a coin much more valuable. And now you start to see the pattern. The more unusual the mistake, the more attention it gets. Now let's talk about condition, because this is where many people miss out. Show two coins side by side again, one dull and worn, one bright and flawless. A circulated coin loses its shine, its crisp detail, its sharp edges, but an uncirculated coin, one that still has that original mint luster. That's where collectors start getting serious. Every tiny scratch, every mark, every detail matters. Combine a high-grade coin with a rare error, and suddenly you're not just holding a dollar anymore, you're holding something collectors actually compete for. Now imagine going through your change at the end of the day, almost out of habit. You check one coin, then another, and then you notice one feels a little different. You look at the edge, and it's blank. That moment, that quiet realization, that's what makes this hobby so exciting, because it can happen anytime. And now let's get to the part everyone is waiting for. What is the 2010 D presidential dollar actually worth in normal circulated condition? It's usually worth around $1 to $3 in uncirculated condition with strong luster and clean surfaces. It can range from around $5 to $20 depending on quality, but if you find a missing edge lettering error, those coins have sold for around $50 to several $100s depending on condition and demand. And coins with doubled edge lettering or other rare mint errors can also reach into the hundreds at auction. So the real value of this coin isn't just in what it is, it's in what might be missing, or what went wrong, and that's what makes it worth checking every single one you find. Now I want to ask you something: have you ever checked the edges of your coins before? Or do you have a presidential dollar sitting somewhere right now that you've never looked at closely? And if you found one with no edge lettering, would you even recognize it? Drop your answer in the comments. I'm really curious what you've come across. Top 3. Today we are looking at a coin that came out of a cereal box, and years later, collectors realized some of those exact coins could be worth hundreds of dollars. This is the United States of America Gold $1 2000 P, the Sacagawea Dollar from Philadelphia. And here's what makes it crazy: two coins that look almost identical at first glance can have a huge difference in value, all because of one tiny design detail most people never notice. Stay with me, because in this video you're going to learn how to spot that detail, why this coin created so much hype when it was released, and how a simple dollar turned into a hidden collectible that people are still searching for today. Now picture this on screen: a bright golden coin slowly spinning under soft light, the surface glowing like real gold. When this coin was first released in the year 2000, people were instantly curious. It didn't look like anything else in circulation, and for a moment, many actually believed it might contain real gold, but it doesn't. It's made from a manganese brass alloy that gives it that golden shine without the high cost, and that shine is part of what made it so memorable. Now bring the camera in closer. On the front, you see Sacagawea, a Native American woman who helped guide the Lewis and Clark expedition across unknown territories, carrying her infant son on her back. And the design feels calm but powerful. Zoom in on the details, the softness of her expression, the texture in her hair, the folds in her clothing. It doesn't feel like just a coin, it feels like a story captured in metal. And just below the date, you'll notice the small, peaked mint mark, showing it was struck in Philadelphia. Now flip the coin slowly in the reverse. You'll see a soaring eagle surrounded by 17 stars. Those stars represent the states at the time of that historic journey. It's simple, clean, and full of meaning. But here's where things start to get really interesting, because not all 2000 Sacagawea dollars are the same, and this is the part most people miss completely. Cut to an extreme close-up of the eagle's tail feathers. In most coins, the feathers look smooth and slightly flat, but on a small number of early coins, the feathers are sharper, more detailed, almost like a different version of the design. And this is where the story gets even better. Some of these special coins were placed inside Cheerios cereal boxes as part of a promotion when the coin was first released. Imagine opening a cereal box in the year 2000 and finding a coin, not realizing that years later, collectors would be searching for that exact version. Now picture this. Someone finds an old box in storage, opens it, and discovers a coin with those enhanced tail feathers. That's not just a dollar anymore, that's a collectible, and that's what people call the Cheerios dollar variety. But even if you don't have one from a cereal box, you can still check your coins, because that feather detail is the key. Show a side-by-side comparison. Here, standard feathers versus enhanced feathers. Once you see it, the difference becomes obvious, and that tiny detail can completely change the value. But don't stop there. Let's talk about conditions. How a worn coin next to a bright, uncirculated, only circulated coin loses its shine, its crisp edges, its visual appeal. But a coin in mint condition, with strong luster and clean surfaces, that's where collectors start paying attention. Every mark, every scratch, every tiny imperfection matters. And then there are errors. Cut to a close-up of a coin with an unusual strike. Some 2000 coins have off-center strikes, die cracks, or surface anomalies. These are mistakes from the minting process, and instead of being discarded, a few made their way into circulation. And those are the coins collectors love, because each one is unique. It's like owning a one-of-a-kind version of something millions of people have. Now imagine going through your coins one by one, checking each detail, and suddenly noticing something different about the feathers. That moment, that realization, that's what makes coin collecting exciting, because you never know when you're going to find something special. And now let's talk about the value in regular circulated condition. The 2000 Sacagawea dollar is usually worth around $1 to $3 in uncirculated condition with strong detail and shine. It can range from around $10 to $40 depending on quality. But if you find the enhanced tail feather variety, especially those linked to the early Cheerios promotion, those coins have sold for hundreds of dollars at auction. In high grades and rare mint error coins can also reach into the hundreds depending on how unusual they are. So the difference between an ordinary coin and a valuable one can come down to something as small as the detail in a feather, and that's what makes this coin so fascinating. Now I want to ask you, do you have a 2000 Sacagawea dollar in your collection right now? Have you ever checked the tail feathers this closely, or have you ever found a coin that looked just a little bit different but didn't know why? Drop your answer in the comments. I really want to hear your story. Top 4. Today we are looking at a tiny gold coin that is older than almost everything around you, and yet, something small enough to fit on your fingertip has sold for thousands of dollars depending on its condition. This is the United States of America gold $1 1841, one of the very first gold dollar coins ever produced in U.S. history, and here's what makes it even more fascinating. Some of these coins survived wars, economic crises, and over a century of circulation, and the few that remain in great condition are now prized by collectors around the world. Stay with me, because in this video you're going to discover why this coin was created, what makes certain versions more valuable than others, and the hidden details that can turn this small piece of gold into a serious investment. Now imagine this opening shot, a dramatic close-up of a tiny gold coin resting on a dark surface, the light hitting it just right so it glows softly. It's small, much smaller than modern coins, and that's the first thing that surprises people. Bring the camera even closer. This coin is barely larger than a fingernail, yet it carries real gold and over 180 years of history. When it was introduced in 1849, gold had just been discovered in California, and the US needed a practical way to use that gold in everyday transactions, so the gold dollar was born. And by 1841, well before that official introduction year, patterns and early concepts were already shaping what would become one of the most iconic small coins in American history. Now focus on the design. On the front, you'll see a portrait of Lady Libertish facing left, wearing a coronet inscribed with the word Liberty. Zoom in on the details, the curls of her hair, the sharpness of the engraving, the stars surrounding her. It's simple, but incredibly elegant. And remember, this was all engraved by hand at a time when technology was nothing like today. Flip the coin slowly. In the reverse, you'll see the words United States of America and $1 surrounding a wreath. Inside that wreath sits the denomination. It's clean, balanced, and classic. But here's where things start to get interesting, because not all 1841 gold dollars are the same. Cut to a magnified close-up. There are subtle differences in strike quality, die variations, and even alignment that collectors study carefully. Some coins were struck more sharply than others, meaning the details are clearer and more defined. Others show signs of wear much more quickly because of how small and delicate they are. And that's one of the biggest challenges with this coin, because it's so small and made of gold. It was easy to lose, easy to damage, and easy to wear down over time, which means finding one in excellent condition today is incredibly difficult. Now imagine this scene: a gold coin like this passing through countless hands in the 1800s, used to buy goods, traded in markets, carried across long journeys, and somehow it survives. Decades pass, then a century, and now it ends up in a collector's hands. That's not just a coin, that's a piece of history that lived through time. But wait, there's more. Let's talk about errors and unique features. While major errors are less common on coins this old, there are still variations like weak strikes, die cracks, and slight misalignments that can make certain pieces stand out. Cut to a close-up of a coin with a visible die crack. These small imperfections are like fingerprints. They tell the story of how that specific coin was made, and collectors love that because it makes each coin feel unique. Now let's talk about condition again, because here it matters more than ever. Show two examples, one heavily worn, one sharp and detailed. A worn coin might have faded details, smooth surfaces, and less visual appeal, but a well-preserved coin, one with strong detail, minimal wear, and original luster, that's where the value increases dramatically. And because gold is soft, keeping a coin in that kind of condition for over a century is incredibly rare now. Imagine finding one of these in an old collection, tucked away and forgotten. That moment, when you realize what you're holding, that's what makes this hobby so exciting. And now let's get to the part everyone is waiting for. What is the 1841 gold dollar actually worth in heavily worn condition? These coins can sell for around $200 to $400 depending on gold content and condition. In moderately preserved condition, they often range from around $500 to $1,000. And in high-grade condition, with strong detail and minimal wear, they can reach several $1,000s at auction. Exceptional examples with outstanding preservation or unique characteristics can go even higher depending on demand. So this tiny coin, smaller than most people expect, can carry serious value, and that's what makes it so fascinating. Now I want to ask you, have you ever seen a gold dollar this small in real life, or do you have any old coins in your collection that you haven't checked in a while? And if you could own one historic coin, would it be something like this from the 1800s? Drop your answer in the comments. I'd love to hear what you think. Top 5. Today we are looking at one of the smallest gold coins ever made in the United States, a coin so tiny that people used to lose it in their pockets, yet today, that same coin can be worth thousands of dollars depending on its condition. This is the United States of America gold $1 from 1849 to 1850, the very first years this coin ever existed, and here's what makes it incredible. These coins were born during one of the most chaotic and exciting times in American history, and the earliest pieces carry a story that collectors are still chasing today. Stay with me, because in this video you're going to see why these early gold dollars are so special, the subtle details that separate common pieces from rare ones, and how a coin this small can hold such serious value. Now picture this on screen. A dramatic close-up of a tiny gold coin resting on your fingertip. It looks almost too small to be real, and that's exactly what shocked people when it was first introduced in 1849. The United States was in the middle of the California gold rush. Gold was flowing into the economy, and the government needed a practical way to turn that gold into everyday money, so they created the gold dollar. And the first version, known as the Type 1 design, was struck in 1849 and continued into 1850. Bring the camera in closer on the front of the coin. You'll see Lady Liberty wearing a coronet with the word Liberty engraved across it, surrounded by 13 stars, representing the original colony. Zoom in on the details, the curls in her hair, the fine lines of the engraving, the precision that had to be done by hand over 170 years ago. It's simple, but it feels alive now. Flip the coin slowly in the reverse, you'll see a wreath encircling the words United States of America and $1. Clean, balanced, and unmistakably classic. But here's where things get interesting, because these early coins were not easy to use. They were so small that people constantly lost them. Imagine carrying a handful of these in your pocket. It wouldn't take much for one to slip away without you even noticing, and because they were made of gold, they were also soft, which meant they wore down quickly in circulation. So now think about these: a coin that was easy to lose, easy to damage, and heavily used during a gold rush. What does that mean for collectors today? It means finding one in great condition is incredibly rare, and that's just the beginning. Cut to a magnified close-up of the surface. These early gold dollars often show differences in strike quality. Some have sharp, clear details, others appear slightly weak or uneven. That's because minting technology at the time was still developing, especially for such a small coin, and those variations matter. Collectors pay close attention to how well the coin was struck, how centered the design is, and how much detail remains. Now imagine this: senior miner in California receives one of these coins as payment, carries it through rough conditions, spends it in a small town, and that coin continues to pass from hand to hand. Years turn into decades, decades into more than a century, and somehow that coin survives today. It ends up in a collection, still telling its story. But wait, there's another layer. Let's talk about subtle varieties. Some 1849 coins were struck in very limited numbers, especially from certain mints, and the 1849 C open wreath variety, for example, is one of the most talked about early types among collectors. These small design differences might seem minor, but they can dramatically affect value. And here's the thing: you don't need to be an expert to start noticing them. All it takes is a closer look. Now let's talk about condition again, because this is where everything changes. Show a heavily worn coin next to a sharp, high-grade example. The worn coin has smooth surfaces, faded details, and less visual appeal, but the well-preserved coin, you can see every strand of hair, every line in the wreath. It almost looks like it was made yesterday, and that kind of preservation over more than 170 years is incredibly rare and incredibly valuable. Now imagine finding one of these coins in an old collection, maybe passed down through generations. You hold it in your hand, and realize it dates back to the very beginning of the gold dollar. Serious, that's not just a coin, that's a piece of history you can actually touch. And now let's get to the part everyone is waiting for. What are these coins actually worth in heavily circulated condition? An 1849 to 1850 gold dollar can sell for around $300 to $600 depending on condition. In moderately preserved condition, they often range from around $700 to $1,500, and in high-grade condition, with strong detail and minimal wear, they can reach several $1,000s at auction. Rare varieties and exceptional examples can go even higher depending on demand. So this tiny coin, smaller than most modern coins, can carry serious value and history at the same time, and that's what makes it so fascinating. Now I want to ask you, have you ever seen a gold coin this small in real life, or do you have any old coins passed down in your family that you've never really checked? And if you could own one piece of gold from the gold rush era, would it be something like this? Drop your answer in the comments. I'd love to hear your story. And if you enjoy discovering coins like this, where history, rarity, and value all come together, make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel, and check out the next one, because there are more coins out there with incredible stories, and the next one might be even more valuable than you expect.